Well, I promised a book review, so here it is. The review of Five Nights at Freddy's, the official movie novel. So the book opens up with a prologue sequence that is very similar to that of the movie, with the previous Freddy security guard trying to escape the animatronic. However, he is stopped by Foxy and he is taken to the parts and service room, where he is put into what many fans have dubbed the Torture Freddy machine, or Torture Bear, or Shreddy Faz chair. So this is what the Torture Freddy looks like in the movie. But in the book, it's described that it opens like that of a beetle's wing, which is kind of neat, I guess. I mean, it kind of strengthens a bit of the circus baby similarities that Ella has in the book. Well, let's go on to the second difference. After the prologue sequence, we meet Mike, who is working his job at the mall as a security guard, where it basically plays out the same as the movie. However, one of the differences is that Mike is immediately fired after after he beats the guy that he thought was kidnapping a child, and so he doesn't immediately go to see Steve Raglan. Instead, he comes straight home afterwards, where we meet Max, who in the novel is said to be a college student. It isn't until chapter 3 when we meet Steve Raglan, who is actually William Afton, who basically Mike instantly hates and describes him as some sort of jerk, basically, judging by his demeanor. I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know that William Afton over here is, well, not a good guy. So basically, Mike rejects the offer to work at Freddy's, and he returns home once again. And of course, I should have mentioned this, but I believe that there's the first dream sequence in chapter 2. But anyways, so afterwards, there's the scene at the development center that Mike's sister Abby attends, where basically almost the exact same conversation happens. However, Mike's aunt also just straight up insults Mike's sister Abby, just straight up out the gate, calling her a train wreck. Mike also mentions just that he thinks that his aunt's lawyer, Doug, is possibly not even paying attention due to him looking so spaced out. So basically, night 1 plays out as it does in the movie. However, it's described that the curtains are crusty and gross, and when Mike pulls it back, he thinks that he saw Bonnie look at him. Other than that, though, the book carries on the same with the diner sequence. However, the diner sequence is when things get weird. So this is Aunt Jane's lawyer, Doug. He is basically sort of another antagonist in the movie. However, in the book, it's implied that he's somewhat being a creep towards Max. I'm pretty sure if you've seen anything on TikTok involving the FNAF novel, that's one thing people have been talking about, so I won't go into that. Another thing, it mentions that the character Ness, who in the movie is played by a famed former YouTuber and host of Game Theory Matthew Patrick, otherwise known as MatPat online. However, in the book, he is said to be a teenager. Meanwhile, MatPat is an adult in real life. So just something weird. So night 2 is the same as the movie. That is until Mike is attacked by one of the ghost children, who instead of screaming and having black tear streams running down his face, he instead hears a metallic scream instead. Other than that, though, it's mostly the same as before. Now, here's the interesting scene, the break-in scene. The break-in scene is actually what describes the animatronics to us. So these are how the animatronics look in the movie. However, for each one of them is described very differently. Chica is said to have 2 sets of sharp teeth in her mouth, and is said to have strips of yellow and orange fabric missing. Bonnie, it also has parts missing from his body and has white eyes and sharp teeth, and his white eyes are entirely white, and he has bits of exposed endoskeleton around his eyes. Freddy is said to have the biggest sharp teeth of them all. While never described in the book, Foxy is the only animatronic to actually have red eyes possibly throughout the entire book. However, the other characters have white eyes, and it never goes into detail if Foxy's damaged or not. So night 3 in the book is very similar to how it is in the movie. However, but it mentions that possibly Abby might have tired herself out playing with the animatronics, as it's only evident in the movie, as when Mike and Abby go home, she's asleep in the backseat of Mike's car. The conversation about Mike and Abby's brother Garrett is also brought up in the book, where Abby says that she'll try to talk to the blonde-haired boy ghost. Oh yeah, I should also probably mention, I forgot to say this, but the ghosts for Bonnie and Chica are swapped in the book. So night 4 continues on the same. However, before building the fort, Bonnie gives Abby a piggyback ride. So that's kind of cute, I guess. So night 5 is very different. As William Afton, whenever he shows up in the book, he never speaks until Vanessa tries to shoot him. Other than that, though, it mostly continues the same. However, Afton also severely injures Mike. Well, he already gets severely injured by the cupcake. Other than that, though, it continues the same. However, he's also skips around using the knife that he pulls out like he's conducting an orchestra at one point, which is kind of funny. But pretty much whenever the spring locks are set off the same way. However, instead of saying "I always come back," he says, I killed you once, and I'll kill you again. And then the rest of the suit's spring locks go off. He is dragged into the back room, and it ends very similarly to the movie. So yeah, check out this book. It's really good. You can get it at Target and Walmart and stuff. Yeah, I never done book reviews, so Yeah.